Episode 8. Follow me, my friend, to glory at the end. I have things to say. I have a lot of things to say. And as your boy Icon with a Marvel television review for you, going over that Agatha all along, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button, follow, notifications, all that stuff. So, the episode starts with Alex. And she's dead. Like, she's actually dead. They had a scene, the opening scene was Alex, her spirit, looking at her dead body. And then Lady Death shows up. And then Alex is talking to Lady Death, Rio. And she's just like, wow, is that me? Am I really dead? And then Rio's like, yes. And then she goes, well, that's it. You know, like, I thought I had more time. She said, I broke the curse. She said, I have so much life to live now. And then Rio was like, well, you're a protector witch and you died protecting people. You basically served your purpose. And Alex was like extremely disappointed, and I was hurt for her. Like, I was disappointed and hurt for her. I was like, she should have came back. And there is a small part of me that feels like the way Rio was acting, because she's like Lady Death and she's supposed to take souls to, like, you know, the great beyond or whatever. There's a part of me that felt like Alex had another option. But Rio would never tell her the other option because she just wants her to come with her. And this is proven based on what happens at the end of the episode. And it was just very sad. Like, Alex got like the worst ending of all time. And maybe they did it because they were trying to showcase the power of Lady Death or showcase what her role is. Because in all honesty, that scene did nothing. Like, it did nothing for Alex. It did nothing for Rio. All it did was just show the audience that, hey, this is Lady Death and this is what she does. But then if you're going to do that, if you're going to showcase Lady Death just to let people know, like, hey, she's Lady Death, like, she takes souls, why was there no scene where she grabbed Lilith? Why was there no scene where, like remember Sharon? Like, she didn't run up on Sharon. We didn't see her run up on Sharon. And also, a comment was left. I forgot who left the comment, but forgive me for forgetting. But a comment was left on my channel when I did the Lilith episode where it was said that out of the seven instruments of doom, only 5 of them died on the spikes and 2 of them actually didn't, like, fall on the swords. And I agreed with that because when I went back and watched it, you did see 2 other of the 7 killers, whatever. You saw 2 of them, like, not land on the spikes, and that turned out to be nothing because they never came back. So apparently they did die. So, like, that was disappointing. Lilith's death was disappointing because she didn't foresee any. That was just like her end. Like, she didn't come back. She didn't foresee anything of her coming back. And she never even got a Lady Death scene where she got taken to, like, if anything, the episode would have been more like this. The real thing would have been more powerful if it showed Lady Death with Lilith, with Sharon, and with Alex, and the 3 of them talking to Lady Death about, hey, don't we get a second chance, or what was the purpose of this? Like, if we did that conversation with, especially because Sharon didn't even have anything to do with this shit. Sharon wasn't even supposed to be there. But if we had a conversation with the 3 of them and Lady Death, that would have hit harder. That would have been better. But the fact that it was just Alex, it was just very sad. And I was very hurt. Like, I was very hurt for her. Anyway, so moving on. So Alex is gone. Lilith is gone. Sharon's gone. We never hear from them again. And Lady Death is just doing her job. She then pops up on the Witch's Road where she's talking to Agatha. And she told Agatha, she said, now that your coven is shrunken, she said, did you think I wasn't going to notice, what you were hiding? And then they were talking about the kid. They were talking about Teen, about Tommy, about Billy. They were talking about Billy. And, she was saying that Billy's an abomination because he stole a life from somebody. Like, this kid died, and I took this kid's soul, and then Billy jumped into this boy's body and gave this boy a second chance at life. Like, he's an abomination. She's like, I got to take him. And then that's when Agatha was like, well, then just take him. Then, like, who cares? But then Rio said it's not that simple because technically, according to the cosmos, although because he's inside of William's body, he's technically continuing William's life. So she said, although he's not supposed to be in that body, I kind of can't take him because technically he's living a legitimate life with, for this person. So they said, in order for me to take him, he has to surrender himself. And then Agatha was just like, she said, well, if I get Billy to willingly give himself up to you, then I want you to leave me alone for the rest of my life. And then when I finally die, I want you to not be there and to not be the person that takes me. She's like, I don't want to see your face ever again. So the two of them made that bond. And then there was a moment where Rio even said to Agatha, she said, why are you allowing them to think this is what happened to your son? And then she said, because it's better than facing the truth. So now Jen and Billy, they're talking about Lilith's sacrifice and what they're going to do next. And then after that, like they left, they went to go find Agatha. And then when they found Agatha, Billy said that, she's a witch that doesn't deserve a coven, which we find out later to be true. And then, after that, like Agatha was like, come on, follow me, my friends, to glory at the end. And then she tripped over some shoes. After she tripped over the shoes, she was just like, what the hell? She's like, basically the witch's road came full circle. And then they were just like, oh, we're at the end of the road. But none of them got the reward for finishing the road. And they were trying to figure out what the final chapter was, what the final trial was. And then that's when Billy, he was just like, you know what? We gave everything to the road and the road gave us nothing in return. So screw the road. And then he put his shoes back on because they took their shoes off when they first started to respect the road. So Billy put his shoes back on. He was like, fuck the road. And then when he put his shoes back on, Billy, along with Agatha and with Jen, ended up in the final trial. And the final trial was in Agatha's basement. And the three of them were there. And that was their moment for them to figure out how they could get the thing that they wanted from Jump Street. So then, and here's where I got a little confused because Jen was talking about how she was hanging out with this guy and this guy bound her or something and she needs to be unbound. We found out that Agatha was the one who bound her back in the 1920s. And I don't understand that. I don't understand. Was Agatha the guy in disguise? Like, was she working for the guy? But we basically found out that Agatha was the one that bound her. And then Agatha said, better bound than dead, because I guess maybe they were going to kill Jen because they thought she was a witch. And by Agatha bounding her power, it turned out that she wasn't a witch, and that saved her life. Like, it would have been nice to had a scene about that, like some backstory on that one about Jen's whole situation, because I was just like, what is happening? I didn't understand how Agatha was even involved in all that shit, but maybe I missed something. If I missed something, let me know. But anyway, once Jen found out that Agatha was the one who did the bound spell on her, she ripped her hair out, wrapped it around her wrist. She did the reverse cantation of saying, like, you hold no power over me. I refute thee. The power of Christ compels you. And she did the unbound spell on the witch who bound her. And because she did the unbound spell, Jen actually got her power back. And then when Jen got her power back, she started crying, and then she disappeared because Jen passed the trial. So even then, by Lilith's telling Jen, oh, you're the way forward, I don't understand what that meant either, because the way forward for who? Like, Lilith's dead, like Jen's dead, like Alex is dead, like Sharon dead, like, so what was she doing forward? Like, I don't understand that. So then Billy was just like, what happened? And then she said, well, she got what she wanted. Like, the road gave her power back. And, and then after that, that's when, Billy was just like, well, what about me? And then she said, don't you want to find your brother? And then she said, well, my reward was I was supposed to get my purple back. I was supposed to get my magic back. So she told Billy, she said, zap me so I can get my power back. And he was like, no, because he said, if I give you my power, you're going to leave me here to rot and I'm not going to get what I want. And he's like, it's very selfish of you. And then Agatha was like, fuck it. She said, let's find your brother. So they sat down and she did the spell thing where she got Billy to find Tommy's soul. And then he has Tommy's soul, but she said, hey, you and Tommy can't live in the same body, so you have to find another body for him. And then Billy was just like, I can't find anybody for him. Where would I put him? And then she was like, that's bullshit. She said, like, 120 people die, like, every minute. She said, find a dead body somewhere and, put his soul in that body. So then Billy found this kid who was being bullied by other kids, and the kids who were bullying him tried to drown him. And then Billy said, I see a kid, he's gonna die, he's drowning, they're gonna kill him. And then he was like, I'm gonna put my brother's soul in this kid's body because this kid's about to die. But then right before he put Tommy's soul in that kid's body, he said to Agatha, am I actually killing this kid just so my brother can live? Like, is there a chance this boy could live, but I'm having Tommy push this kid's soul out of his own body? And then Agatha was like, it's too late. And then and then he got Tommy ended up in so I guess like he didn't drown, and then he ended up coming out of the water, and then Tommy's body is now in this random kid's body. And then after that, Billy got what he wanted, and then he disappeared because he had passed the trial. And then Agatha was the last person, and then she was pissed because she was like, I don't get what I want. She was like, where's my reward? And then, finally she looked at the, I guess, like the necklace or whatever, like the thing that had her son's picture in it or whatever, and then she took it because they said that this was an Earth trial and Sharon wasn't even there. like this was an Earth trial. So then she ended up like burying the item in the dirt, and it ended up growing into something, and then the dirt started caving in. Agatha ran upstairs. She passed the trial, I guess, and then when she came out, we were, because remember, this whole thing started in Agatha's basement. So when she came out of the trial, she was in her basement. She came out of her basement and onto her front yard. When she got to her front yard, Rio was there, and then Rio was like, oh, it's time for me to take my prize. And then she was like, I told you I would get the kid to surrender. She said, yeah, but you also gave him the power to, to pass the trial for the Witch's Road, and now he's gone. So because he's gone and I don't get what I want now because he's gone, I'm now going to take your life. And then she tried to she tried to steal Agatha's life. She tried to kill her. And then right before she killed Agatha, Billy showed up looking like a combination of Wanda Maximoff and Magneto. Billy showed up, and then he started fighting death. And then after that, she was just like, boy, I'm going to kill you. And then that's when Billy was just like, shit, fuck it. In order for us to fight Rio, I got to give you your power back. So he used his power. He blasted Agatha with his power, because that's how Agatha gets her power. Like, she steals it from other people. He gave her his power, but then told her don't take it all. And he damn sure almost took it all. But then Agatha got her power back. She's back at full strength. Like, she's 100 back up in this bitch. And both her and Billy together tried to fight Rio. But then they were losing because she's deaf. You can't kill death. And then that's when Agatha said, she was just like, yo, she said, this is a losing fight. We're not going to win. And then that's when Billy was just like, well, you know what? I'm going to make the sacrifice and I'm going to save us both. And then Billy was just like, hey, I give myself up to you willingly, like, just don't hurt Agatha anymore. And then Agatha was like, yep, he's quitting. He's giving himself up. I told you I can get him to give himself up. Take the boy, leave me alone. And then he was like, oh, this bitch tricked me. And then she was like, sorry, kid, but them's is the rules on the Witch's Road. But again, because Billy has the power to use like telepathy, he said to Agatha in her mind, oh, is this how Nicholas died? Like, you sacrificed Nicholas, for your own power. And then that's when Agatha felt bad. And then she was like, you know what, screw it. She went over to Lady Death, and then she was like, you want me so bad, come get me. She kissed Lady Death, which I assume was the kiss of death. And then when she kissed Lady Death, Agatha actually died. And in her last moments, she did the right thing and sacrificed herself for Billy. So she turned out not to be a bad person after all. And Billy even said that. He was like, yo, you're not a bad witch. But then she disappeared. Rio got pissed. And then since they made a deal, because she said that between you and Billy, I got to take one of you. And because Agatha basically sacrificed herself, she was like, fuck it, I can't take Billy now. And then also, like they said earlier, Billy needs to, he did willingly give himself up, but Agatha jumped in front of that bullet. But in order for her to take Billy, like, she actually has to wait for him to like truly surrender. But then she let him go. She was like, fuck it. She was like, you can go. Billy, then she went away like all disappointed because she was like, why don't you want me? Billy goes back home. And then while he's in his room, he starts looking around at things in his room, and things that are in his room resembled everything that they did on the Witch's Road. And then they started doing flashbacks of things that was said to Billy by Agatha during the trial. One particular where Agatha said to Billy, you're just as dramatic as your mother, creating this whole big fiasco. And then that's when it hit me. I was like, wow, Billy created the Witch's Road. More on that later. Billy was the one who created the Witch's Road. It was just like how his mother created the dome over Westview. He created the Witch's Road for them to go down on the trials. And then when Billy came to that realization that he was the one that created the Witch's Road, somebody said boo, and then he turned around and screamed. That was how the episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. I feel like this should have been the finale. So the way, like, the battle with Lady Death, the battle with Rio, Agatha sacrificing herself, Billy, it being revealed that Billy was the one that created the Witch's Road. I'm just like, what else are we going to do? This was the finale. Like, this was there's one more episode to go. We get one more episode to go. And I'm just like, what else is there to do? Like, all the questions have been answered, but I guess we need to find out who said boo. We'll find out who said boo. As I said, more on that later, but share your questions, comments, and concerns down below, and let's continue to talk about it. I'm sorry, they did Alex, Sharon, and Lilith dirty. They could have did more than that. It was just very dry and just very empty. Like when Death took Alex, I was just like, that's it? Like that's all Alex gets? And again, Lilith didn't even get that. Like, it was they should have did a scene with Sharon, Lilith, and Alex having a conversation with Lady Death after they all died. But let me know what you thought in the comments section. Check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and or TikTok. Let me know what you think about this particular episode as we conclude the final episode and we conclude The Witch's Road. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So till the end, the finale of Agatha all along. We'll find out who it was. Apparently it was Billy all along, but till then, signing off. And we're out this